What's up, guys? It is Charzzariah and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Ratchet Clank. In the last episode, we continued exploring Planet Metropolis. Pretty much saw all there was to do there. Got all the gold bolts, got the helipack upgrade, which allows us to do the best move in the game, the long jump. And we also acquired the blaster, a pretty decent weapon actually, when, with all things considered. I know I didn't really go over it in that episode, but yeah, no, the blaster is a pretty decent weapon. And on this episode, we are now on Planet Aridia. We are going to help out Skid McMark, see what's going on with him, and yeah, see if we can find any more infobots for any more planets, or to see if we can find the things that'll help us out on, you know, the future planets, because we also have that infobot for Planet Eudora. I didn't forget about that, don't worry.
It's him, Skid McMarks.
That man from the infobot.
In the flesh, little dude. You guys get a load of that epic space battle I was in?
We saw you screaming for help.
There goes my connection to the internet.
That was like
Rip.
a war cry. My agent and I got ambushed on the way to hoverboard practice.
Did he survive the crash, sir?
Oh, and we're back. Okay.
But I've had a little trouble getting back to my ship due to my sprained ankle.
Oh, come on.
If you can take out all the sand sharks, I just might have a spare hoverboard for you.
We'd love to help you, Mr. McMarks, but Ratchet and I need to find Captain...
One of your boards? I've always wanted a decent hoverboard. Well, alright. You just keep that foot elevated.
I'm fairly certain the audio actually got desynced in that cutscene. Interesting enough. I'm not sure if that had to do with the network connection. I have no idea. But anyway, yeah. So we have to get rid of all the sand sharks. Also, I just almost pressed R2 to fire when it is definitely circle. If you want advice, because I know this is a let's play and not really a walkthrough, but if you want advice for this section, just use the Pyrocitor. You're gonna kill everything in one hit, and you can just spin around like a top, and you're just gonna, it's gonna be so much easier than if you try and use the bomb glove or the blaster or your wrench. I don't know why you would try and use your wrench, but you know, it's a viable option. Also, I feel like, I was going to mention something about that epic, like him talking about him having an epic space battle and liken it to something that I saw the other day, but that would be spoiling it, and like that would be spoiling it, and I wouldn't want to do that for people. I was gonna talk about Avengers Infinity War, which I went to go see last Sunday. I was gonna talk about it last episode, but we were talking about other things. You know, didn't want to really shoehorn it in if it didn't really have a place. But I can talk about it now because, you know, we haven't had any other real topic of conversation for this episode. But yeah, I went to go see it on Sunday, and yeah, I went with I think 22 other friends. Which, if you've never booked a large like event in a cinema with a bunch of your friends, you need to do it. Like, there was something so satisfying about booking, because it was a entire row, and then majority of the back row was also our tickets. And so like when I checked, because I had to book an extra ticket for someone during the week, I went online and I like went to order the ticket, and I could see all the tickets I'd already previously booked, and it was just such a satisfying feeling of like, yeah, I did that. Those are my tickets. Like, those are my tickets. I own all those seats for this showing. It was pretty cool, and you know, I think everyone really enjoyed it. It is a very, very good movie. Like, it is. See, I want to say it is my favorite Marvel movie, but I still can't, because I loved Spider-Man Homecoming so much, because I'm a massive Spider-Man fan, and that movie was everything I wanted a Spider-Man movie to be, and it was just, oh, it was such a good movie that, like, Infinity War and Thor, like, movies like Infinity War, Thor Ragnarok, the first Avengers, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, all those movies are, you know, probably the best in terms of quality, but in terms of my favorite, I think it's going to stay Spider-Man Homecoming for quite a while, or at least until Spider-Man 2 comes out, which I believe is, I can't remember if they've already started production on Spider-Man 2, or if they're starting it later this year. I'm not 100% certain, but I know it's coming out pretty soon. I think it's the first movie to come out after Avengers 4, and Avengers 4 is midway through next year, because I think next is Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then after that it is it's Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, and then Spider-Man 2, yeah. And then who knows what's coming after that. Like, I think that's as far as we know at this point.
Here, man, catch.
A brand new Z3000. You can't even buy these.
Well,
Technically, wouldn't that mean you're cheating them when you're using it? Because you can't buy one? I don't think... You know what? I don't think Ratchet is overly concerned about whether or not he is cheating. I mean, we've seen how, you know, not sleazy, but how crafty he can be. So I think getting an advantage like that wouldn't be, you know, the worst thing in his books, I don't think. That's fair enough. Yeah, so we now have a hoverboard. We don't really have anyone to use it quite yet because we've not been to any planet where a hoverboard would be useful, but I'm sure we can find a use for it at some point or another. Also, we're going to skip the elevator because I don't need assistance. I am a strong, independent Lombax who don't need no machine to help me get down. But yeah, so if you haven't gone to see Infinity War yet and you are a Marvel fan, I would definitely recommend it. Even, like... No, I feel like it's gonna mean more to you if you're a Marvel fan, obviously, because I mean it's been 10 years leading up to this one movie, and from my opinion, it definitely did not disappoint. Like, I have been watching these movies since I remember going to see the first Iron Man in cinemas. I think actually we went to go see it in gold class because for someone's birthday, it might have been mine or my brother's or my dad's. We got 3 gold class passes to go see a movie, and that was when Iron Man 1 was coming out, and my dad had, I think he had read comics around, like, that time when Iron Man was, not when they first came out, because he's not that old, but, you know, he'd read comics, and we were all interested in seeing, you know, what Iron Man would be like, because we saw the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, we saw, the Fantastic Four, which, you know, the first movie's it's got some good points, and then, you know, the second movie kinda doesn't, because they made Galactus a cloud. I still can't get over that, like, Galactus was a cloud. Like, you look at him in the comics, and he's like this big eater and destroyer of worlds, and it's just like, in the movies, it's just a cloud. It'd be like if Thanos was like, I don't know, like a puff of smoke or something, like the smoke monster from Lost, like that was Thanos. It's like, oh. And yeah, like, I won't spoil the movie because I went so far out of my way to make sure that it wasn't spoiled for me. Like, I did not go on any social media websites for the entire week leading up to it. I stayed away from everything possible. If anyone I knew had seen it, I was like, don't say anything, I don't want to know. And I would hate to ruin that experience for someone, because seeing it without knowing a whole lot was so amazing. It is the best way to see that movie. I know it's the best way to, like, really see any movie when you don't know what's gonna happen, but for this movie especially, just because it's like, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie that, you know, not everyone was expecting. So I just say, yeah, go see it. It is incredible and amazing, and if you're a Marvel fan, it is just amazing. I'm probably gonna see it at least another 2 more times. I've been talking with some friends from uni, and we're potentially gonna go see it tomorrow, and then I think I'm gonna go see it with my family again, probably on like Saturday or Sunday. So yeah, and I am certain that, like, all the emotions I had watching it the first time, I'm gonna have the next 2 times, because just like, it just makes me so happy. It is disappointing though that, like, Marvel Comics at the moment is not doing as well as, like, say, DC, because I've started reading a couple of DC comics at the moment. Like, I was watching the Comics Explained video about Dark Knight's Metal, which was, I think, the big crossover, like, their first big crossover of the DC Rebirth. I could be wrong. Like, up until reading that story, oh, that's not true. I'd read The Button from DC because I heard that was a really good DC Rebirth story, and it's Batman and the Flash, and they are probably my 2 favorite DC characters, so I was like, yeah, I'll give that a shot. But up until that, I had never read a DC comic in my life. I'd seen the Nolan Batman movies. I'd seen Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, which that's a movie. That is a movie to be sure. I watched the extended edition and everything, and just like, was it worth it? Maybe not, especially considering I watched the extended edition because I was gonna go see Justice League with a friend, and then we never went and saw Justice League. I was like, you made me sit through 3 hours of Batman vs Superman for nothing, and he's like, sorry, bro.
No signal whatsoever.
You owe me 3 hours of my life back, which I guess I saw, like, Infinity War with him, so I guess it's somewhat made up, but at the same time, it's really like, that movie. I mean, that has some good parts in that movie. Like, when it's Batman v Superman, I'm enjoying it, I'm having fun, but almost everything else is just like sandpaper on my face.
You look like an athletic kid. If you can bring back the championship prize from the hoverboard races in Blackwater City, I'll make you my next star.
We have no time for trivial matters, sir.
I could be the next Skid McMarks.
See, Ratchet is so concerned with his agenda and his agenda alone. Like, we could save the universe, or, hear me out on this, I could become a pro hoverboarder and make a lot of money. Like, you gotta weigh up your options, man. You gotta figure out what's important. Also, you can see that there was a gold bolt over there, so we are going to head back over to the to Skid's agent and pick up that gold bolt, because I'm pretty sure that we can grab it at this point. There is another gold bolt in a very similar area. Actually, if you can see in that big gun, there is the gold bolt in there. Unfortunately, we are not able to reach it just yet because we do not have the necessary equipment to get it. You know, same story as on Novalis, and, well, not the same story as on Metropolis, because we can actually get the one on Metropolis, no sweat. So I think the way we're meant to do this is we long jump over here, and then, yep, get up on here, long jump over to the island, and we should just be able to get into this weird truck-looking thing that almost looks like a snail. Like, the back is the shell, and its two lights are its eyes. I don't know. I could be very wrong. I just think it looks like somewhat like a snail to me. I don't know. But yeah, just DC comic-wise, really good at the moment. Reading Dark Knight's Metal, really enjoying it. I'm also reading the Doomsday Clock series of comics when they're coming out, and the Batman series. I think it's starting up the War of Jokes and Riddles, which, as someone who's never read a DC comic before in his life, there are a lot of things where I just don't understand what's, like, 100% what's going on. Like, there was a thing in Dark Knight's Metal that they showed, and I was like, I guess this is a big reveal, but I don't understand it. But I'm still enjoying it. They're still fun stories to read, and I hope that Marvel's new event, I believe it's Infinity Countdown or Infinity or whatever they're gonna call it. I hope it's good, because I am through and through a Marvel fan. Doesn't mean I don't dislike DC. Doesn't mean I'm not open to the possibility of enjoying a DC comic, but I am 100% a Marvel fan. It's what got me into reading comics. It's the movies and Marvel comics in general are what got me into, you know, reading comics to start with. So specifically Spider-Man. So there will always be, you know, the comics brand that I always, you know, will try and defend or be a fan of. But, you know, like Civil War 2, 2 years, was it 2016? Yeah, Civil War 2 in 2016 was kind of meh. I enjoyed Secret Empire. I enjoyed the idea of Hydra Captain America, but I understand why people may not. Like, I can see the criticisms, and some of them are actually valid. Like, I won't say that all of them are 100% valid and people are just wrong and not understanding the kind of story they wanted to tell. Like, there are some valid criticisms of that story, and I can't 100% defend it, honestly, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun story, and I thought it was, like, the ending was fine. They did kind of do, like, a bait and switch sort of thing, but, you know, that's fine. It's comics. I know the standard of comics has gotten really high with stories like, I think the Injustice storyline was really good from DC. Wait a minute, I swear is there not a swing shot target to hit? Oh no, yeah, there it is. Yeah, with story like, Secret Wars as well, and, is it Annihilation Conquest? Is that, I know, oh no. I think, yeah, it might be Annihilation Conquest. There have been a lot of good comic book stories, and so when a dud one comes up, it's kind of like a bit obvious when it's not up to the standard that people might expect from Marvel or DC at this point. But, yeah. I still enjoy it. Man, this entire episode is just me talking about, like, comic book movies and comic books in general. So, I really hope that you're interested in that. I mean, considering that my last Let's Play was also of Spider-Man 2, a superhero game based on a comic book, I would assume that quite a few people probably who watch this content have an interest in comics. Yes, no, maybe? I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I've just been talking out my ass for the past 13 minutes and you honestly don't care, you know? I'm interested to hear that. Also, if you can make it through this entire place without touching the ground. Said if you can make it through this entire place without touching the ground. No? What? There is supposed to be a skill point for making it through that entire room without touching the ground once. Did I do it wrong? Okay, I'm gonna come back over and see if... Maybe it's... Alright, what if it's the first? like the very first target you have to hit and go from there. No, I don't have enough reach to do that. Okay, let's try it again. Not touching the ground, not touching the ground. Okay, there we go. Second time's the charm. I don't believe I hit the ground at all during that point, so I don't know why it didn't pop, but, you know, there you go. Also, if you didn't have the trophy for that yet, you would get the trophy for it. Obviously, like I said, I've got the platinum, so I have every trophy. I'll probably just stop pointing out when trophies would be given out for certain, what's what I'm looking for? For certain skill points, because, you know, it's just going to get tiring at this point. Also, down below, you can... Alright, if you don't mess it up like that, like I just did, if you drop down properly, and probably hover, which is a better idea, you have a gold bolt waiting for you. So that is 3 out of the 4 gold bolts on this world. So, fortunately, we can't get the last one, like I said, because we don't have the necessary equipment. But, when we gain the necessary equipment, we will be sure to come back and pick it up. Can I? No, I probably have to look up and aim to actually hit the swing shot target, don't I? Yep, that's fine. But we've also been given a new gadget. We have the Trespasser, which just looks like, it looks pretty cool, and I love how like the icon is key because you use it to pick locks. If I had the help desk lady turned on, you probably would have heard her mention that, but I've turned her off completely pretty much at this point. So yes, we have, every Ratchet Clank game has their lockpicking puzzles. This one, I mean, it's the first one, so it's pretty simple. It's just, hey look, line up the 3 lines, and they turn green, the door opens. It gets a lot more challenging later on in the game, and there are a few optional Trespasser puzzles that you can do to get, I think they're all for gold bolts, but those ones can be pretty challenging, so, you know. Also, I guess it would have been smarter to do that section of the level first, and then do the next section, like that other section of the level, but you know what, we got them done, we did it, it's fine, you know. Sometimes you do things out of order, it's fine, no biggie. Also, we didn't, while it's true that we didn't get any infobots for any other planets, do not think that this planet is unnecessary like I did when I was young. Like, I thought if a planet didn't give me an infobot, it wasn't worth my time, which was very wrong of me to think, because, like, we got, I think, 2 different gadgets on this planet, and we also got an objective for a planet we can't visit yet, so there is quite a lot of things that you can do on this planet, and both gadgets that we got are required to progress the story, so yeah. Don't think that just because this planet doesn't give you an infobot, it is useless, because believe me, it is not. But I think on that note, we pretty much cleared out the entire planet of Aridia on this episode. We got 3 more gold bolts and a couple of skill points, so I think on that note, we should end it off here. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like down below, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing, because, you know, there are a lot more. Well, if you don't want to miss out on the new episodes as well, please sure to ring the bell, and to keep up with the new series that are coming out, that's what I was trying to say before. We've got Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, Dragon Age Inquisition, Dark Souls 2 Skull of the First Sin at some point. See, like, watch, this video is going to come out, and the series will have already been going for like 3 weeks, so I'm going to look like a damn idiot talking about it as if it hasn't come out yet, but at the time of recording, it hasn't yet, so at some point we'll have Dark Souls 2 Skull of the First Sin, so, you know, if any of those series interest you at all, subscribe so you can keep track of those. And if any of my previous Let's Plays interest you with, you can go back and, you know, watch those. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you have any feedback, leave it down in the comments below. I read every single comment you guys leave. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.